recording. Oh, and we're on. Perfect. Right. Hello, everybody. It's the Lightworker Lady here, and welcome to a very new, very special video that I have decided to do. I've decided that I think you're all a bit sick of just listening to me constantly talking about this and that, and I wanted to do something very different for this channel and bring somebody in who knows quite a bit more about this subject than I do. I love this subject and I love collecting, but I don't think I know quite enough about it. So I wanted to bring somebody in who did, and who better than the wonderful Angie from Empowered Crystals, who not only knows about crystals and all the wonderful things there is to know about them, but she makes the most wonderful, beautiful, fabulous jewellery, which I am actually modelling. There's some beautiful shungite earrings and a wonderful pendant of rough garnet, beautifully copper wound. Perhaps I need to take still pictures of these so you can see them. Camera doesn't do it justice on Skype call. So without further ado, welcome Angie, and thank you so much for joining me.
Hello.
We had so many technical issues getting this one going, but I'm glad we're finally up and running. So Angie, you make the most beautiful jewellery. I'm going to make sure that we plug that as we go on through this interview and chat. Interview sounds far too formal for what we're doing. We're chatting, aren't we? About the wonder of crystals, in particular one. We're going to start with the letter A, because why not begin at the beginning? You may have noticed behind me that I have grown wings. I knew it would happen one day, and just so happened to be amethyst wings. I shouldn't be in front of them really because they're just too gorgeous. I'll move to the side so we can have a look. Absolutely stunning crystal is amethyst, and it's also a very, very popular one, and I thought that we could chat about this. So amethyst, my first question is for people who don't know too much about crystals and want to begin their collection. I always say start with amethyst. So when we're beginning a collection, where would we go to get the best amethyst, and also where does it come from?
Right. Well, amethyst, the best I think is from Brazil. So Brazilian amethyst, it does have a really nice tinge to it. This is Brazilian amethyst, and you can see it's got really nice colour. You get several types. You get like a druzy amethyst, which is the one which you've got behind you, which is like the little points, and then you get the big pointed amethyst, and then they also break it up. If we've got a really big point, they'll break it up into smaller pieces. It doesn't affect it. You can, I've got a ring which has been polished into a little stone. If you can get Reiki tuned or charged stones, they've got a much better energy. Somebody would have worked on them, they would have cleansed them. So if you're buying off of someone, that is one thing that will help a lot with the energies. If you're buying from somewhere like eBay, you may be getting coloured glass, but if you have something that's uncut and raw, it's less likely. I test all my stones as they come in, so I know everything's genuine. And plus, I buy from large suppliers that have 50 years experience. So there's not really any chance of it in the first place, but I always like to do my double checks. It's a great stone. If you sort of can go into a shop and feel it, feel the energies. Some people, I know there's a lot of talk with some people, they just don't feel energies, they're not in tune, and so they wouldn't know what they're feeling. So that's the only problem with that. Quite often on the internet, you can feel drawn to something, and that's I think that's always a great sign. If you feel really drawn to something and you've got to have it, if you see something that you want, turn your computer off, go away, and if you're still thinking about it and you can't get it out of your mind, then that stone's for you. That's what I always say.
Yes, yeah, it's very intuitive, isn't it, when you're picking crystals, and even going for the same one. So okay, you want a piece of amethyst. You may pick up 2 or 3 different pieces before you know which one wants to come home with you, and it's a very intuitive process, I think. I absolutely love. So I know we talked a little bit before I pressed record about do you prefer polished crystals or rough crystals, and what the difference is energetically between the two things?
I personally don't find a lot of difference. I'm obviously quite in tune with the crystals, and they work whatever they work, which I find really interesting. Is even if it's big or sorry, breathe in the wrong way. If it's big or small. So I'm going to have to take.
Yes, of course.
Excuse me. It doesn't matter about the size too much either, because you think if you're getting a bigger crystal, it's going to have bigger energy. It's not always the case. Having it within your aura, that's really important. So if you have a crystal that's in the edge of the room and you say, no, it's got no effect on me, it's because it's in the edge of the room. It's not within your body. So I personally, just as long as I'm wearing it, I'm happy. I quite like points like I'm wearing today. Probably can't see it very well.
You can see it, it's gorgeous.
But equally, I've got a ring on. I like polished stones. I find it's much more the way they've been worked with that has the effect, because I cleanse all my stones with Reiki. I tune them to Reiki. I use special symbols to empower them. And I have so many people say, I've bought stones before, I've never felt the energy, and I filled them with yours. And I think that is so much more important, working with your stones rather than the size of it, the colour, whether it's rough or smooth or tumbled, and wearing it within your aura. Because the way I feel that these stones work, they have a 3D matrix. It's already been proven that they produce energy. Our quartz watches wouldn't work if they didn't produce energy so regularly they can literally set a clock by it. And you need to have that energy within your aura. And we all vibrate at different energies. So I'm vibrating at an energy. And if I've got this sat within my aura, it doesn't necessarily have to be in my skin, because our auras can go quite out a bit. But just as long as it's within that range, then it will help to change your energetic energy. And that's the way I feel it works. And working with the stone. So if you've got a stone, whatever it be, you need to work with it. You can't just sit and look at it. You've got to either be wearing it all the time, and if somebody's worked on it for you, even better, sometimes, because they've got a bit more experience.
Yeah, I have to say, because I don't, I had to make sure that I actually purchased some of your jewellery before we did this interview. So I can't talk to you about how brilliant your jewellery is unless I've experienced it for myself. Thank you very much. So I treated myself to these beautiful shungite earrings. We've got to do a video on shungite and all of the wonders about shungite, because it's one of my favourites. And I, in particular, this garnet screamed out at me, buy me, buy me, buy me. And I don't have that many pieces of garnet. I don't think I have any pieces of jewellery of garnet. My daughter absolutely loves it because she watches a cartoon called Steven Universe, and Garnet is one of the characters. So they're all the characters based on crystals are brilliant. And so she's always banging on like Garnet, Garnet, Garnet. This just spoke to me, and when I got it out of its packaging, beautifully packaged, by the way, I felt it and I said, flipping heck, the energy on this is incredible. I felt it, and I wasn't imagining it. It was absolutely there. I always run my pendulums over everything, and my pendulums absolutely loved it too. And it was just absolutely beautiful. So I get it completely. You've got to work with crystals, and when it's somebody who knows what they're doing, understands Reiki energy, and can infuse that into crystals, you can tell the difference completely from when you go into, you know, I always prefer to go into crystal shops to buy things because I like to pick them up. So I'm really picky if I am buying online. So it would have to be from somebody like you who I know has handled the crystal and infused it and all the rest of it. I won't just go, oh, you know, eBay, click, that looks pretty. I dare say many years ago when I was first starting crystal collections, I probably did get quite a few bits. You can definitely tell the difference when you get something that's just sort of standard, you know, box standard eBay purchase of a bulk bought crystal. What I'm trying to say is you can feel the love energy that's gone into it. My daughter always says when she eats a meal that I've made for her, she goes, I can taste the love. I can taste the I can taste the love. And that's how I feel about crystals and jewelry. That if there's love and time gone into the making of it, and then it's been infused with that incredible energy as well, it's just amazing to work with. I feel so good wearing this. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting next to me right now. I really do just absolutely love it. So yes, I've meandered slightly, but there was a point to it, because you definitely energetically, when something has been charged up, I do like to charge everything myself, and I always say to people, you know, charge your crystals, sound cleanse them, and whatever. But the last video that I put onto my channel was about programming crystals for different things. So taking that subject and then putting amethyst in there, for me, if I was to program a piece of amethyst, just my personal intuition side, I would program an amethyst relating to my third eye and my spiritual progression and my spiritual development, because that's the crystal that I would associate with that particular chakra. So that's what, if I was going to program a crystal for helping me with my spiritual development, amethyst would be one of my choices, not all, but it would certainly be one of my choices. So what would you, for you personally, what would you program amethyst for, whether it was like physical, because also crystals can be used for health benefits as well, can't it, as well as spiritual stuff?
With the amount of experience, because the beauty with the position I'm in is that I don't have just my experience. I get all the responses from all of my clients that do take the time to message back to me. And the one thing that amethyst is quite good at is actually with pain, and you wouldn't think it would have that much of an effect. And I work with it an awful lot myself. I do a lot of computer work because I run the online business. Everything's online. I'm either on my phone or on my laptop most of the day. And amethyst, I found, is the only stone. And what you would do is, when you get a headache, if you place it between if you can try and get a flat one, this is a very flat, but you place it lie down, place it between your eyes, and it really does help. And it's very good if you've got muscle pain. because the thing about amethyst, very calming stone. So it's supposed to help with sleep. Crystal grids. I was planning on doing a crystal grid for sleep, and amethyst is going to be the main one. So you can do it for crystal grids and have it in your room. You have to be quite careful what you have in your bedroom, and that you don't mix it with stimulating stones. I always get, can I wear lots of crystals? Yes, you can. You can wear as many crystals as you want. But if half of your crystals are calming crystals and half of your crystals are energizing crystals, probably not going to give you the effect that you really want. So you have to sort of be careful that you choose crystals that are all going to do the same thing. So amethyst would be in your spiritual development, as you say, because it's very much upper chakras. So if somebody, I always say, if somebody's got anxiety, although this is a calming stone and they're very much in their mind, that means their upper chakras are very overactive. So you probably need to start working with calming stones that are going to bring your energy back down, like the shungite that you're wearing, that brings your energy back down to earth. And tiger's eye. So the amethyst, although it is a calming stone, if you're a worrywart and you're thinking about things all the time, it's probably not going to have the effects that you think it's going to have. If you've got sleep problems that you just need to relax and it's muscular and you just need to, then amethyst, very good one to work with. It's reported to be really, really powerful. Now, me working with stones, I don't think amethyst is powerful. I think it's a lovely, gentle stone. It's got the same feeling to me as rose quartz. It works. You think it's not working, and then when you stop wearing it, you think, oh yeah, that it's quite insidious with the way it works. You don't really realise that it's working. So for somebody think they're going to get a right whack from this, it's not going to. People do say it's really powerful. It's really protective. The one thing, if you've anxiety, is from things like outside influences. So you feel as though people are attacking you. So you go into work and you get an anxiety because lots of people are saying negative things. Amethyst is good for anxiety caused by that because it's protective. It's very good if you're wearing an amethyst. So if I'm wearing an amethyst like this, and then I imagine that amethyst growing around me in a protective purple bubble, it's a very good way of wearing amethyst and getting that calming anti-anxiety. But as I say, it's quite interesting because when they say about anti-anxiety calming, you've also got to think about why have you got that anxiety? Is it just because you're overactive, you overthink things all the time, or is it outside influences? Is it just that you're uptight and got muscular pain? So you've got to actually sort of, you do have to analyze yourself to a certain extent. So it's really good for working with, but you've just got to analyze what the problems are behind the things that you want to work with. Spiritual growth, it's a good stone, but if you really want something really powerful, I would use it in combination with other stones personally, because it is a gentle stone. If you're already really intuitive, then it's great. But if you're not, and you're really wanting to get some really big, powerful energy in, then I would use it with other stones. Kyanite, very powerful for intuition. So that's the one I use whenever I'm doing any readings or anything like that.
Yeah, I use tanzanite as well, in conjunction with amethyst, and I think that they complement each other a lot. If I've got a headache, I would use the amethyst. If I really wanted to go deeper into more of a meditative state, I would swap that out and I've got beautiful, should have brought it, beautiful little piece of tanzanite that I would use on the third eye. So that actually brings me on to my next subject with regards to amethyst and other crystals that complement. So I have a couple of, I actually have more than a couple. I've got some jewelry pieces of Super 7, which it has amethyst in it. I will forget most of the other crystals in it. It's amethyst, smoky quartz, and then a ton of others.
I can't remember.
I'll probably butcher the pronunciation of them. Oh no, I'm not even going to try now. I love that. I have some absolutely a beautiful oval pendant of Super 7 and matching earring set, and I find that if I feel like I need to go out amongst strangers, I tend to put that combination on. I do when I go out to dinner a lot. I will put that combination on, and I always feel quite protected, and that bubble goes around, and it's such a beautiful combination of all of those crystals. I think the smoky quartz is particularly protective. It kind of deflects stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I absolutely adore it. And holding, I've got a few big, I should have brought them. I'm not crawling the pyramid to get them, but I have a few pieces. And if you hold it up to the sunlight, oh my goodness me, I could stare at that for hours and find a new thing about it that I hadn't noticed before. I just love that combination. Sure, amethyst is great as a standalone crystal, but to put it in the mix with other crystals as well. So what else would you mix amethyst with?
I really like it quartz. So quartz is just my most favorite stone. It is a neutral stone, so whatever you put with it, it is going to go really well. And the nice thing about quartz is you can program it for everything, and it balances energy. So if you start working with amethyst and you combine it with quartz, then you sort of get a balancing effect, and you can program the stones together. So that's really nice to work with. As I say, kyanite and amethyst for spiritual work. I also quite like to throw in labradorite with that. Yeah. Really good also if you're doing spell work. So amethyst and labradorite, because labradorite brings in that magical energy. If you're working more with calming, you can use loads of lovely combinations. So howlite is really calming stone. Lapis, really lovely. And the thing is with lapis as well, is both of lapis and kyanite is protective. Yeah. So you'll get both of them working to do that protection. So they're both anti-anxiety stones. And as I say, if you find your anxiety is coming from outside causes, then it really does help, because both of those protective will help that outside influence. And you can even throw in a bit of black tourmaline into that mix. Again, very protective, really nice to work with. And the thing is with black tourmaline, you got the amethyst bringing your energy up to there, your lapis bringing your energy to there, and then the black tourmaline brings you back down to earth. So you're not all in your head. It's much balancing type of energy. So and what I like to do is to wear different jewelry. So I'd wear a pendant, I'd wear ring, bracelet. So that's how I mix my jewelry. I'm not keen on these mixed bracelets and these mixed pendants, because I like to be able to program that single type of crystal and get its energies really at its maximum. And then you can bring in different jewelry that's also had that really good treatment, and it's had brought the stone out. Once you start to get into mixtures before you've even started to program, then they all start to meld together, and it's a lot more difficult to control the energies. That's just my opinion. I know people love the mixed bracelets, but I like to just get single bracelets and mix the jewelry into different with different crystals, but different jewelry pieces.
Well, I think this is why I'm talking to you and getting all of this information. You probably tell me off for some of the jewelry I've got. I have such a mixed bag.
Some people, I know people love mixed bracelets, and it's just from my experience from working with them, I find they're much more difficult to program and much more difficult to control the energy, and you just get a mixture of energies that meld together, and that is just my experience with it. Everybody's going to be different. You'll talk to somebody else that's been using crystals for years, and they'll have something completely different again.
Well, I've got my shungite, I've got my garnet, I've got hematite, Priscilla bluestone, white howlite, sodalite.
See, used your grounding stones today, haven't you?
Well, I've got I've got the white howlite, the Priscilla bluestone, and the hematite on this hand, and then I've got sodalite, the chakra bracelet, and amazonite on this hand. I've got an amethyst ring. Oh my, I might be able to rack us with all of this. And stitch tight. Oh,
yeah, it's stitch tight.
And then there's a faceted amethyst, and I think that might be an aquamarine. I think. I've got, there's a lot going on here. I might need a crystal jewelry rethink after this. I do find though, when I am wearing these, that my energy feels quite balanced. I think it also depends how much espresso I've drunk, where I am energetically as well. I'm not that bad. But yes, I'm really particular about, I always put the same rings on. I swap what's around my neck daily. I always have something different on daily with that. And that the last question that I've got for you, I'm just jumping entirely away. With your jewelry making, do you do like requests for things, or is it more sort of your designs, or are you open to people saying, I'd like this and this, can't see it on your website, would you put that together for me?
It sort of depends. The problem with requests is that people ask me for something that's not possible. And because if you don't make jewelry, you don't know, and then it gets quite awkward. So I generally say I don't do custom makes. I can usually swap a crystal out and do a different crystal, but people want elaborate silver designs, and I don't have silversmithing equipment because it requires high heat and I haven't got a studio. So I use pre-molded bases. That's how I get around it, and I can put different crystals in. So I can usually do a particular crystal. As I say, I'm sort of against crystal combinations. So generally what you see is what you get on the website, but I mean there's 1,200 items. I mean you've got to find something, haven't you?
Oh yes, and it's a
20 different crystals on there.
It's a treasure trove and absolutely worth a look. And if I don't put it down in the description box of this video, then I will put it in the comment section, link to your website, your beautiful website, and also to your YouTube channel, because you also have your own YouTube channel and you put so many awesome videos out all about crystals. I'm just stealing you for this little series that I want to do, because I want to steer people over to you as well, because you're a wealth of knowledge on all things Reiki and crystals, and mixing the two amazing things together is awesome. So I want to see people going over and subbing to you and absorbing all of this incredible crystal knowledge that you have, and also purchasing your jewellery, because your jewellery is great and everyone should have a piece. I've got a few bits of amethyst that I'm going to show that I've got, because as you remember, I crawled through my pyramid to grab them when I remember I didn't have them handy. So more polished pieces. I do love it when we get people who can do this with crystals. Beautiful amethyst angel there. I love that. That was a gift. I also have a beautiful pendulum, amethyst pendulum.
Nice.
Isn't it gorgeous? My husband loved it so much he bought one for himself. He's like, I want one for me. Top one. Bit of rough.
One thing to know is the difference in colours of all these amethyst. It's all natural, and that is just how it grows. It just depends on how much iron is in it.
Yes, yes. And again, very different again.
Beauty, Druzy, one of my favourites.
Yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. I have these dotted, not just in my workroom, I have these dotted all around my house as well. So I just want to spread that beautiful crystal energy all around my house. So I basically have a house full of plants and crystals. I also love crystals around my plants. I like to find out which crystal is best for this house plant and that, and how do they complement each other. Yeah, that's it. It's like a little science project I've got going on.
I quite often give my plants a little crystal to give them a boost.
Yeah, I loved it. I think they appreciate it. This is a magical world I live in. I'm like, I'll talk to the plant and go, do you like that? Do you like that crystal? I always get a vibe if it doesn't want it. Okay, I'll swap that out and give you something else. People are barking. I don't care. I love it. It has been so lovely talking to you. I've really enjoyed this. Is there anything you want to come at me with before we wrap up?
No, I think we've covered everything, haven't we? It would be really good.
Yeah, I think we have, and I hope that for everybody watching, that if they're wanting to begin their crystal collection, they want to start at the letter A. You don't have to start at the letter A. It's not whatever you like, but you know, amethyst is an absolutely gorgeous one. You don't have to, you know, go all showy. And
I was going to say, size doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. I was just
going to say I specialise in minimalist jewellery, and it's, well, especially with the Reiki attunement, just as long as you have it in your aura. People always say, is it too small to have an effect? No, it's not.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the most powerful crystals, and again, this is another video that we're going to have to do. For me, I have a very small piece of moldavite, and believe me, size does not matter when it comes to crystals like that. I could talk all day about moldavite. I love it, love it, love it. And so I think we're going to have to, aren't we, do a video on that. But yeah, size absolutely does not matter. I do get so much out of the real small crystals I have in my collection, and this is more because I have this gorgeous workspace and I run groups from this room, and it's like a piece that people look in and as they walk into the room and go, oh wow, aren't they absolutely gorgeous? I mean, all I can do really is sit in front of them and pretend they're my own wings. It's not like I can lift them up and work with them in that sense. I can't, but to sit with these behind me and use my drums or work with my sand pendulum, things like that, it's really nice to feel that. It's more like a loving energy behind me. When I sit with these wings behind me, that's what I feel from them. But obviously I ain't going to pick them up and start doing anything with them unless I want to break my foot because they're so heavy. I also have some geodes, much like the beautiful one you've got behind you.
Yeah.
I have a those geodes as well, which I keep either side of my little swing chair that I often work from when I'm running my groups, and it just makes for that area just a beautiful energy to work in. And you know, big or small, it has an effect, doesn't it? So size does not matter when it comes to crystal. So when it comes to most things, to be fair, it's all about intention, isn't it? And again, when it comes to programming crystals, you don't just have to program. I meant to say that when I was talking about programming crystals, you don't just have to program amethyst for anything to do with your third eye or spiritual. It's entirely intuitive how you work with crystals. It's not, you know, this is for this and that is for that. When I'm teaching crystal healing and crystal gridding to people, I literally just give them the basket of crystals that I've got and say, go. I don't, you know, say you should try this for this and this. It's a personal thing, isn't it? And it's personal to the person that you're working with. And I usually find that their energy tells you, draws you to the correct crystal to use for that particular part of the body, and that's how best to work with crystals. It's all intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And having that little bit of knowledge about, you know, it helps to know, okay, that's very grounding crystal, that takes you higher, that's good for downloads, that's good for this and that. Obviously that because you could run into a bit of trouble if you're like high as a kite with just blocking yourself with as much moldavite as possible. It's going to be a little bit, you probably won't sleep for a long time if you do that. Don't put moldavite by your bed if you want to sleep. We'll talk about that when we do a moldavite video, but yeah, I think for a starter crystal, amethyst is an awesome one to bring into your collection. And I just wanted to cover it because I've had so many people say, oh, can you talk about amethyst? And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about as many crystals as we possibly can. So I really would love it if you would come back and talk more crystals with me, and we can do a whole series on awesome crystals to work with and all of their amazing benefits. So that would be so cool if you could do that.
Yes, would love to.
Brilliant. In the meantime, everybody needs to go to Angie's amazing website. Please tell me your website.
Empoweredcrystals.com. It's really simple. And the YouTube is Empowered Crystals as well. Instagram, Empowered Crystals. It's pretty easy to find me.
Keep it simple. That's what I've done with mine. Lightworker Lady, Lightworker Lady, Lightworker Lady. Just keep it simple. Brilliant. So everyone, please go and do that and drop a sub into her brilliant YouTube channel. And I am really looking forward to doing future videos and looking at more crystals with. Just to say, before we go, Angie and Jenny together, my sister's called Angie. So it's like, oh, Angie and Jenny. I've not actually met anyone else called Angie and conversation. Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
Other than my sister, this is like, oh, Angie, Jenny, Angie, Jenny. Anyway.
I'm thinking about you too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm really excited. I don't know when I'm going to get this video out on my channel. I will let you know. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really hope that you got some amazing information and that it's helped you with your crystal knowledge. And we will certainly be back again very, very soon, and we will be discussing more crystals. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.